Hi guys, welcome here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be looking over the splice and slice method. But first, let's take the array.slice method. It returns a selected element in an array as a new array without altering or changing the original array which it was called upon. Let's take a look at this so that we could understand this. So I already have an array of number 1 to 6, and I also have the start position, which is the index of each items in the array, and the end position, which is the index of each item in the array starting from the end, right? So I'm going to call the slice method a number. So I have numbers dot slice. Slice takes two parameters: the start index, which by default is 0, and the end index, which by default is array.length. But quick one, whenever you're passing a range, the first value, which is the start point, is always inclusive, while the end point or the last value is always exclusive. Right? You see what I mean when we go on. So I want to get number 2 to 4 from this array. So I'm going to start from position 1. 2 is on position 1, right? So I have to pick 1, comma, the last index, which is supposed to be 4. Why I'm saying 4 is, if I do not pick 4, like I said earlier, that the end point or the end value is not always inclusive. So if I pick comma 3 and I console the log that, let me save this into a variable. So I have const numbers equals number 2 equals this, and I do console dot log numbers 2. It returns 2 and 3, and I want 2, 3, and 4. So because the end is not usually inclusive, the end point not usually is always exclusive, so I have to do comma 4 to achieve that. So position 4, so I pick from position 1 to 4. Do you get it? So we have this. So take for instance that I want to get the last 3 numbers in this array, right? So here is a cool trick that you could use. You can use a negative number if you want to the starting point to count from the back, right? So what that simply means, if I want to start counting from the back, I want the last 3 numbers. So all I have to do is 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to do this minus 3. It prints out 4, 5, and 6. Cool here. So if you want to get all the items from the index you have passed in the method, you don't have to specify the endpoint. You just need to specify the start point. What I mean is, if I just want from 2 to 6, I don't have to specify the endpoint. All I need to do is, I want from position 1 upward. So when I console the log this, so I have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or I want from position 3 upward. So this is from 4. If I console the log this, I have 4, 5, and 6. Let's go over the array.splice method. The array.splice method changes an array by removing or replacing an existing element or item, and it overwrites the original array. Let's look into this. So take for instance, I want to remove 3 and 4 in this array. So I'm going to declare a variable. So I have const removed numbers equals numbers dot splice. I'm calling the splice method on numbers. So the splice method takes 2 parameters: the starting position, that's the start index, and how many numbers you want to remove, that is the delete count. So I want to delete 3 and 4, right? So 3 is on position 2. So the start index to be 2, comma, how many numbers do I want to delete. Since I'm deleting 3 and 4, that's just 2 numbers, so I have 2, right? So I'm going to console.log removed numbers, right? So let's run that. So I have 3 and 4, but I said before that it overwrites the original array. So let's console.log numbers. We have it here. So you have 1, 2, 5, and 6. So it overwrites the original array, right? So let's say we want to add some new numbers to the array. A splice can be used to add new items to an array. You would also choose a starting point and also specify how many numbers you want to remove. But in this case, we're not removing anything. All we want to do is add a new number. So I could do const new number equals, call the splice method on it, numbers.splice, where I want this where I want you to start from the start index, which should be 5. I want to add 2 new numbers behind. I want to add numbers 7 and 8, right? So since I'm not removing anything, the numbers to delete would be 0, 7, 8, right? So let's console.log numbers. Let's see what we have here. So I have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we could also use the splice method to replace items in an array, right? So you also need a starting point, how many numbers you want to add. So let's do const replace number equals numbers, call the number method on splice, numbers.splice, the starting point. So in this case, I want to replace 1, 2 with 3 and 4, right? So the starting point here would be 0, how many numbers I want to replace? 2. Then what I want to be replacing it with, so I have 3, 4. If I console the log numbers here, I'm going to be getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this numbers it will just return a new array. So if I do console the log replace number, it will return, let's see, so it returns 1 and 2. But the main purpose of this tutorial is splice and how you could manipulate your data with the splice method. So that'll be the end of today's tutorial. Thank you very much. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.